money go? Ain't nobody gonna know. Do you trust your meat to take a walk down the street while killers be killing and killing and killing? Nailsin News. 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 News.
So that's what we'll do. So if you can hear me, let me know. We'll test that. If not, I'm going to stop this and go back to Rumble Studio, which, it's fine. It's just, okay, I can hear it. All right. On my end, I went over to Rumble to play it, and I can hear myself talking. So far, so good. We'll see how that plays out. Because of what happened this morning. Oh, God. It's been a bad weekend, all kinds of stuff going on. No, it has nothing to do with Melton. Melton's been very good to me. And, he's been good to me. And I'm not in the best of shape. But I do like doing these things. I like messing with it and doing all this. And they don't always land. But I got a lot of these stories. And provided I can put up a good front for it, I can use this footage for later videos that with maybe cartoons, put on top of it, or Photoshops. One or the other. You never know. If I had more energy, I would engage in that sort of thing in sort of the second part of this, where I would do illustrations or Photoshops of the different characters we'll be meeting tonight in these lovely stories. Yes. So anyway, Starry's here. Hi, Starry. Doug. Yep, that's me. Starry says, I hear you. Why, thank you. To clarify, yes. So, well, since it's working, we'll get into it. I don't know what the hell happened this morning. Because EV Mux, it's got a lot of cool bells and whistles, and it's kind of easier to navigate because of how it's laid out. Where Rumble Studio, I tell you, it's a lot of stuff to scroll through and all that kind of thing. Doesn't have all its own sections and whatnot, and then sometimes it just freezes up all the time inside, not on the video. And I'm like, well, I'm trying to get to this clip and I can't get to it now. And sometimes you just got to refresh the whole thing, which kicks you out and you start, all that. But it may just be more of the same here too. I don't know. But when the sound drops out, I can't have that. I mean, my voice is everything. Well, the drawings too, So anyway, maybe I'll do something with that footage of me drawing Opie and his buddies, in a short video, sped up, put it to music, and it'll be one of those things. That'll be something. Anti-derivative deal. Oh, wait, I can do this. I keep forgetting that. I'm on my way to bed. Good to see you streaming. Well, thank you, Jill, and have a good night. All right, let me get to these terrible stories. And yes, they're all terrible. Although I did pick one to end on a light note. So, you might appreciate that. Yeah. So, all right. When I edit this, I might use my cartoon persona at this point. and you won't even see this part because I'll be reading the headline as the introduction to the overall assessment. So that's when, oh, you're not even seeing. See, already off to a terrible start. Pell says, hey, everyone. Hi, Pell. Let's go ahead and put this up there. There we go. There we go. Illinois teacher Christina Formella left new husband totally in the dark about twisted relationship with 15-year-old student. Uh-oh. There she is. And she's shocked people are upset about this. Kill crew. Huh. Well, anyway, no, go away. The Illinois teacher accused of molesting a 15-year-old student claimed to cops that the boy was a stalker and that her new husband knew all about his so-called obsession with her after she was arrested. But Christina Formella's ex-college baseball player spouse said he was totally in the dark about the boy. Formella, 30, of the Chicago suburb Downers Grove, tried to play off the allegations that she had had a months-long relationship with the teen, which, he said, culminated in them having sex in a classroom. You're not supposed to do that in the classroom. As a boy obsessed with a teacher because she's good-looking. Throughout her interview, Formella tried to paint the accuser as her stalker and claimed that her husband was aware. She's like, it's totally true, okay? That's how it happened, right? But it was all news to Michael Formella, who married his college sweetheart Christina last summer, about 6 months after the alleged abuse. Oddly enough, her husband told detectives that he knows nothing about the accuser, beyond his status as a soccer player. So she's not a baseball fan. She's more of a soccer fan, you see. According to torrid diary entries that prosecutors found on Formella's phone, she also seemed to blame the teen for ruining her marriage. Well, look, the teen didn't take any vows. You did. I went back and screenshotted every single time that I said we should break up until after the wedding and after you graduated. And every single fucking time you came back and convinced me it would be fine, she wrote. You ruined us. You know, who's the adult here? You know, I warned you we should never have started dating a long, long fucking time ago. And you gaslit me and convinced me it was fine. So your student was in charge here and explained to you everything was all right. I'm fucking mad I let a 16-year-old fuck with me like that. Mad at who? Yourself? Well, yeah. In the end, we both lost. You lost the girl who would have stuck with you through thick and thin. Girl? You married another guy. What the hell? If you'd have just kept this quiet, we could have kept this going and had our fun. And I guess is what she's saying. Anyway, she wrote later expressing hope in a section titled Manifestations that the boy would reach back out to her to mend their relationship. We will be in each other's lives forever. We will be able to love each other while also living our own lives. So she just wanted him on the side, you know? So I guess there's, you're just a baseball player. You didn't play soccer. That's what she likes. And there he is in his baseball uniform, you know. Hey, everything was smiles then. Yeah. Well, anyway, the assault allegedly took place in a Downers Grove high school classroom in December 2023 when Formella was a 28-year-old soccer coach and special education teacher at the school. She had been boys' soccer coach and was giving him private tutoring sessions when the pair allegedly began messaging each other. When prosecutors say quickly, which prosecutors say quickly escalated into inappropriate conversations and culminated in a sexual encounter in a classroom. One morning, the alleged affair was discovered after the boy's mother recently found text messages on his phone from Formella, in which she professed her love for him and talked about sex they'd had, including one message where she said, "I love having sex with you." Well, that's pretty straightforward there, huh? After her arrest, Formella claimed to police the boy planted the messages on her phone to blackmail her because she's good looking. Well, yeah. Despite her allegations of stalking, prosecutors noted Formella never reported any inappropriate behavior to school administrators or the boy's parents, and that she also had shirtless photos from his social media on her phone and text messages with people where she spontaneously brought his name up. Wow. And while she denied ever having sex, Formella later fessed up to having a relationship with the boy. I'm not going to read all this crap. Defendant admitted that she knew her relationship was wrong. Oh, really? But she was unable to stop it because she cares too much about him. Yeah. Formella told investigators those writings were merely an outlet for anxiety. It was just, some crazy fantasy and whatnot. And that references to sex were about her husband. So you would fantasize your husband was your student. Prosecutors requested that Formella, I spelt it wrong here, Formala, be denied pre-trial release. She's had enough release, but she was let go on the condition that she not enter school grounds or have contact with anybody under 18. She faces 2 counts of aggravated criminal sexual assault and is due in court. Formella began teaching at Downers Grove in Tweety Tweety and has been placed on paid leave from the school. Paid leave. Yeah, well, that's the way that works for teachers. There she is. Yeah, I'm loving life. Not here, though. Yeah. I mean, everybody's going to know, but apparently you couldn't stop talking about him anyway. So anyway, she played soccer at Maine South High School in Park Ridge and went on to play for Concordia University, where she dated her future husband. Well, soon to be ex-husband, huh? Photos from their recent wedding showed the pair dancing and kissing lovingly, while loved ones looked on and cheered. Formella was driving with her husband when police pulled her over and detained her over the rape allegations. And he appeared baffled by what was happening. Is she going somewhere? He asked cops as they took her away. Oh, boy. So I guess that's what's happening in the video here. Oh, wait. I probably have to adjust it where the sound can be. Does it? Seems no. I don't know. You might not be able to hear, but I'll play the video anyway. So we'll do that. Okay, let's go here. Kill Crew. Yeah, that's coming with. Uh huh. Oh no. Oh jeez. Yeah, how'd this happen? Well, private tutoring, extracurricular activities, and this is where it ends up. All right, come on. No, we don't care about that. Oh, jeez. Well, somebody needs to be held accountable for all this. Oh, well, so that's how it ended. You know, yeah. So I don't know if you could hear the you know the audio of the video. Yeah, that's important. But basically, she was crying, and it's as if it's someone else's fault and all that stuff. Plus, why couldn't her husband be a soccer player? And no, that wasn't the deal. Anyway, I'll read some chat before I move on to the next exciting story. But one of the things about the video is that it does demonstrate she's pretty much still a child herself. I mean, she's pushing 30, and she's still in the mindset of a teenager. So I think that goes a long way in explaining some of these circumstances. Starry, hey, Pill, I made a live. Pill L says, hey, Starry, nice. Shows fortitude to be up this late, lol. Yeah. Starry, I think a lot of us have insomnia. Haha. Oh, yes. Of course, I do because I work nights, and so I might as well just stay up even when I'm off. Anti-derivative Jill, we need the equivalent of Chris Henson tailored to catch female predators. That could be something. Why don't you have a seat here? Sure, right there at your desk in front of the chalkboard. You had sex with a 14-year-old. Well, how else is he going to learn? Pell, imagine I'm cheating on you with an underage kid. Yeah, but, that's who she identifies with. Yes, Starry, red flags. Pillow, that's Starry. I've always been a night owl. I absolutely despise mornings. Yeah, I've never been a fan of them either, but apparently you need them for some reason. Sorry, same, Pell. Pell, there is a disconnect. Not only with the sex with an underage, but also declaring it in writing. I mean, she's nuts. I mean, that's the deal. And look, he's just some teenage boy, and suddenly the hot teacher wants you. I mean, what's he gonna do? But for her, she's got deep-rooted problems. No, I don't mean her hair dye or whatever. Starry, I can't understand the lack of ethics. Well, the lack of ethics is she doesn't have any. Starry, she's so beautiful. Well, that's the deal. And it went to her head. And that's all she's ever going to be about. Boy, is things going to go terrible when all that collapses into ruin, because that is what time does to us all. But the prettier you are, the worse it's going to be. Ugly ages well. I mean, look at me. Starry, I mean on the outside. Well, yes, inside there's some weird, I don't know, tempest, something like that. Starry, that Hanson impression was good. Oh, thank you. I did watch quite a few of those. And they took it away. All because of that a-hole did himself in. Well, we're supposed to be upset about that. He was a child predator. Come on. Hey, that's my opinion. All right, we'll move on to the next exciting story of this lovely character that may enlighten you on some of the activities out there. Caregiver arrested after 6 adults, including one who died, were found living in filth on a bus. There she is, the caregiver. A shitty bus. Okay. Authorities arrested a 61-year-old caregiver on suspicion of neglecting 6 adults who were found amid inhumane conditions on a bus. According to the Memphis Police Department on April 9th, officers responded to a medical call on Union Avenue where they found a yellow bus with a trailer that had 3 goats. Authorities entered the bus and found a driver, Bernice Jarrett, and 6 passengers, including 5 with intellectual disabilities and 1 with dementia. So I'm assuming the others are a different sort because intellectual disability dementia would qualify. But whatever. Police said the 6 adults were living in a space with no running water, no food, and overall inhabitable and inhumane conditions. They reportedly wore dirty clothes and showed signs of malnourishment. One of the passengers allegedly severely injured another, but they didn't receive medical care. The passengers, including 5 who were non-critical, so they still liked her? Oh, you mean condition-wise. Were transported to the hospital. The Shelby County District Attorney's Office announced in an April 11th news release that one of the passengers later died. Further investigation revealed the bus was reportedly traveling from Texas to Virginia. Police alleged Jarrett had been staying in hotels, leaving the passengers unattended overnight. Jarrett faces 6 counts of neglect of a vulnerable adult. The district attorney's office successfully argued for a higher bond, and it was raised from $80,000 to $250,000. In a statement, District Attorney Steve Mulroy called the case deeply disturbing. The individuals involved were among our community's most vulnerable, and they were subjected to unthinkable conditions. We will pursue accountability to the fullest extent of the law. I guess she just did it for the money, you know? Yeah. That's about it for that one, you know? Doesn't look like a happy camper, you know? And it wasn't a happy camper. It was apparently pretty messy. They say living in filth. I guess they didn't want to come out and say that they were crapping all over themselves, you know? So it is rather sad, if not smelly. And one of them died. Yeah. Pale Ale says yellow bus, aka homeless. Well, I don't know. She was, I guess, is this their caregiver? I don't know. That means she had some amount of custody of these adults who can't take care of themselves. Something of that nature. And she took full advantage of it and was probably getting, some checks for the deal, depending on how many she got. And so she had 6 meal tickets. And then, I don't know, I was getting nervous about people noticing how she was treating them and decided, all right, everybody on the bus. We're going to Virginia. So they got on the shitty bus, and then they got caught because people noticed, hey, that bus stinks, and who are these people in there? And that's that. You're busted. Plaidcore shows up. Hey, Plaidcore says, hey, Starry, Plaidcore, yo, Pell. Starry, hey, Plaid, Pell L. What up, Plaidcore? Plaidcore says, Karmic was VJing like crazy. It was hard to pull away. Well, thanks for coming over here to watch me drone on about these horrific examples of humanity. But it's what I do, you know. Hey, Plaidcore. All right, well, that's that. And good riddance. And so she probably doesn't have the $250,000 to get bail. So let's hope not. But we'll see how that works out. Spurg Snake gives 2 salutes to nail sinners. I hadn't thought of that. Oh yeah, I gotta get rid of. But she does have a bit of a skull face there, and she's just like, "You old farts are gonna make me money. That's all you're good for." Whoop, don't need that. All right, moving right along. We've got our next candidate. Perhaps she will be the winner of the night or something. I don't know. One of our. Oh, maybe these characters are the nail sinners because they commit horrible sins. Wife found guilty in plot to fatally stab hairdresser husband Fabio Seamantilli for financial gain. Why? The wife of prominent hairdresser Fabio Seamantilli has been convicted in the 2017 plot to kill him in the home they shared with their daughters. The Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office announced April 11th that a jury found Monica Seamantilli guilty of 1 count of conspiracy to commit murder and murder with special circumstance allegations that the killing was carried out for financial gain and by means of lying in wait. So, was she hiding behind the sofa with a butcher knife or something? She is scheduled to be sentenced on June 23rd and faces life in prison without the possibility of parole. She'll probably get paroled. But anyway, prosecutors said Monica Seamantilli and her co-defendant, Robert Baker, were involved in a romantic affair and conspired to kill 49-year-old Fabio Seamantilli. Look, he's a hairdresser, do you think? You know, and that's why she had to find some action on the side and then decided she'd rather be with Rob. And, but, you know, the money and everything. So maybe make an accident happen or something. On January 23rd, 2017, Fabio Seamantilli was sitting on the patio when Baker fatally stabbed him and fled the scene in the victim's porch. God, stole his car and everything. The vehicle was reportedly found abandoned just miles away. So, according to CABC TV, investigators originally believed it was a home invasion gone wrong. But that's just what they wanted you to believe. But they never named Monica Seamantilli and Baker the primary suspects. Baker is reportedly a convicted sex offender and former porn star. Boy, does Monica know how to pick them, you know. Deputy District Attorney Beth Silverman argued that the victim's wife plotted Fabio Seamantilli's death so she could inherit his estate and continue her relationship with Baker. Silverman also allegedly said Baker and Monica Seamantilli destroyed evidence to hide their plan. Well, you would think so. Baker previously pled guilty to first-degree murder and was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The TV reports that his third suspect, Christopher Austin, helped Baker in the stabbing. Jeez Louise, when he needed help holding the knife. He pled no contest to second-degree murder and faces 16 years to life in prison. Well, see, in happier times, but then it turned to this for greed and sex. Come on. Well, geez Louise. I mean, his name's Fabio Seaman Tilly. He was a hairdresser. Of course, gonna suspect, but that doesn't justify murder. There, I keep forgetting to do the end bit. So I got one for that one, Starry says, Spurt. Pledcore says, video jockeying couldn't miss this. Carm is going for a while. So all night or something? A. Thompson, Doug, can you do Karmic's show? Well, no, I'm doing this one. The Spurg Snake Carm has been going since 10 p.m. at least. 10 p.m. Good Lord. So he really is an all-night guy. He's an all-nighter. A. Thompson, how much do you charge? I don't. Pladcore, is the theme tonight meth? Well, isn't it every night? I mean, Starry, haha, Plaid. Spurg Snake, Starry, hey. Spurg, Gitsy. Plaid. Okay, everybody's saying hi to each other. Pell, at least he is of age, though. Give her credit for that. Well, yes. But apparently we don't know about his previous victim. I mean, he's a convicted sex offender. And for her, it's just like, wow. I mean, these people are disgusting. And they're murderers. Again, it's like the guy, the third suspect. What the hell was his deal? What was it? I don't know. Starry, life in prison still better than FGC. Starry, I can't let it go. Pladcore, Gilly College, Starry. Gilly College. Pladcore, that would be a horrid education. I imagine it would. Pellel, Baker took the fall while Butcher and Candlestick Maker walked free. Yeah. Pledcore, and agreed. If I got your meeting. Okay, I can't keep up with the crosstalk. Spurg. Okay. All right. Now I'll move on to the next one. Let me clean up the mess laid back by the other one. Here's one. All about jealousy and whatnot. It's sad what love can drive people to do. Oh, damn it, I had it and I turned it off like an idiot. There we go. Here she comes. Yay. Yay. Jealous wife ran over husband spotted leaving a Circle K with her estranged husband. Wow. So here she is. Boy, does she look pissed. Ain't nobody gonna mess with me. Well, someone did, and now look. Is this the Circle K where it happened? Maybe she's blocking where all the mess was, Anyway, a 41-year-old woman in Florida has been arrested after she allegedly ran down another woman with her Volkswagen Jetta because she spotted the victim walking with her estranged husband. Chris Don Reese was taken into custody on Friday and charged with 1 count each of attempted first-degree murder, trespassing, and violation of probation, according to a news release from the Polk County Sheriff's Office on April 10th. The victim and her boyfriend walked to a Circle K gas station in the 4900 block of U.S. Highway 92 East in Auburndale, Florida, where they purchased several items. The store is about 50 miles southwest of Orlando. After leaving the store, the victim and her boyfriend were walking across Old Dixie Highway on their way to a friend's house when the boyfriend allegedly spotted Reese, who drove past them heading south on that very road in a white Volkswagen Jetta. Apparently, angered by seeing her estranged husband with another woman, Reese allegedly decided to use her car as a weapon against the victim. Reese then used the parking lot of the nearby Family Dollar store to make a U-turn and head north, accelerating quickly in their direction. The victim began to run down a driveway, and Reese pursued her, striking her with her car. Reese then turned around in the driveway and fled north on Old Dixie Highway at a high rate of speed. Surveillance footage from the Circle K allegedly captured Reese heading south, then making the U-turn and driving north after seeing the couple. Authorities responded to the scene and located the victim. She was transported to a local hospital by emergency medical personnel with Polk County Fire and Rescue. Subsequent X-rays showed that she suffered 2 spinal fractures, but doctors said that she is expected to make a full recovery. Domestic-related calls are some of the worst calls to which we respond. Oh, I'll bet, said Sheriff Grady Judd. When people allow their emotions to take over, it can result in injury or even death. This victim was injured, but luckily she survived the ordeal. Chris Don Reese needs to learn how to control her temper. And maybe some cooling off in the jail will help. I don't know. Authorities said that at the time of the alleged attempted murder, Reese was on probation, stemming from a 2023 retail theft charge in Osceola, who cares, County, which resulted in the probation violation charge. Well, yeah. You see, when you're on probation for theft, it's not a good idea to add murder to all that. You're not allowed to commit murders while on probation. Just because you're not allowed to commit murders at all makes no difference. Additionally, during the investigation, the owner of the home on Dixie Highway where the incident took place told authorities that Reese did not have permission to be on his property, which is why she was charged with trespassing. Yeah, see? A little something extra thrown on the fire, Reese is currently being held in Central County Jail without bond because she's a dangerous, angry bitch. So I can't imagine why the husband decided, I don't want to be with her anymore. Where did it all go wrong? Well, we may never know. That's too bad. That's too bad. How can love go wrong? Every time there's one of these situations where a scorned wife takes it out on the mistress, you realize it's because, like most women, they think men can't help themselves, but women know better. They can control that, but she chose not to. That bitch stole my man. And that's the attitude, Even though the mistress, girlfriend, whatever, she didn't make any vows to her. The husband did. But again, he can't control himself. But the bitch could. I'm thinking that's her thinking. It's just a theory. All right, that'll work as in-bit commentary for this wonderful section of news. Plaidcore, I love Doug hating the crosstalk. LOL. Yeah, well, large Marge. uh, Pell, she fits in a Jetta. Well, apparently, and she was able to use it as a weapon. Or maybe she parked the Jetta, got out, and then ran over the victim, fracturing her spine. Spurg Snake, why did I laugh so hard at Volkswagen Jetta? I don't know. Plaidcore, Akira Nakai Jetta? I don't know. You think Dank DeMoss could fit in it? Plaidcore, wide body. Could be. Pell, the shocks on that car must be spent. That poor car is as level as a seesaw. Yeah, well, it's free now. Maybe for the damages, the victims get possession of the Jetta. And the Jetta might appreciate that. It would like to be cared for and, and loved by sweet people. Plaidcore, peoples or peoples? I don't know. Oh, yeah, it's the people's wagon, I guess. Pell looks happy. Pell looks happy? No, Pell says, I guess our Chris Dunn looks happy. I don't think there's going to be any happiness for a long time. Spurg Snake, she seems so pleasant. Well, everyone has a bad day, it just happens that way. Timey, wimey, limey, some sort of smiley emoji. Plaidcore, I think the latter. Did she use a ladder? Pell mistress may not have known he was married. Well, that's true. Boy, what a way to find out, huh? Timey, wimey, limey. It's never our fault. No. Pell Jetta needs therapy. Well, they do offer those services in the prison system. They offer them. I don't know that you get them, but that's supposed to be part of the deal. It's like, hey, you need to learn how to deal with your temper. And it certainly makes work for therapists and stuff like that. So, they get paid out of it. Does any of it work? No. But, at least they made the effort. And that's got to count for something. Maybe. The bitch shot me in the back. Woman who fantasized about gutting ex like a deer is sentenced for murdering current boyfriend after self-defense claim implodes. Whoops. When deputies arrived to find Tyler Kinnan Nolish, 30, dying from a bullet wound in his Florida Keys home, his killer and girlfriend, Brittany Nicole Holbrook, 35, claimed he had choked her. Not true. According to deputies in Monroe County, Florida, she did not have telltale marks on her throat. A court sentenced Holbrook on Friday to 40 years in prison for murder in the second degree. Authorities said she had shot Nullish in the lower back. The bitch shot me in the back, he told his roommate in his dying words. Jurors convicted Holbrook in February for the June 17th, 2023 killing. One of Nullish's friends told Fox News in a June 2023 report that Holbrook acted affable, usually. Victim and killer were in love. Everyone saw this, she said. They seemed like the perfect couple. She, his roommate, was... She seemed so normal most of the time, but when she drank, she'd become a monster. And a switch would flip, and she'd start screaming and throwing things and hitting Tyler. So basically, she's Dr. Jekyll and Miss Hyde, So it's the alcohol's fault, So you got to put, Miss Hyde in prison. Not Dr. Jekyll. Dr. Jekyll is nice and sweet. This is relevant because Holbrook had been drinking with the roommate and Nullish before the murder. The roommate went to bed, only to wake up to the sound of Holbrook screaming in the living room. Holbrook, the other friend, told Fox News, had drunk alcohol 2 days before the killing and ranted violently about an ex-boyfriend. Huh? I'm going to kill him and take a knife into his stomach and rip upward to his throat, Holbrook allegedly said. The friend said it was like she was describing gutting a deer. Holbrook is getting 665 days time served credit. Well, how about that? Isn't that something? Boy, it was almost a third six. Ooh. I don't know. Maybe she could, appeal for a retrial and claim demonic possession or something. Not really, but I don't know. Probably crazier angles have been tried. Someone did do that. That's right. They said they were possessed by the devil, and that's why they killed people. Yeah. I don't know. It didn't work. He had to go to prison. So, yeah, it's probably not an option. Oh, well, since everyone knew she's a monster when she drinks, maybe they should have thrown all the alcohol out or whatever. But I guess that wouldn't work. It's her fault. The alcohol made me a monster. Who drank the alcohol? You. See? All right, that'll work. Just another Florida love story. It is. Boy, there's tons of them. They usually end up just like that. Now that's a thought brought to us by meth. The gutting like deer, that is. Yeah. Yeah, they said it was alcohol, but there's got to be some meth here somewhere. Plaid car, I could be wrong. Or a murderous combo. What is that expression? Facial expression? Yeah, that's just, I can't believe this happened. Like, who did this to me? Starry says, falling asleep. We'll catch all of you next time, friends. Good night. Well, good night, Starry, and thanks for holding out as long as you could. It's appreciated. All right. Let me go ahead and, just start. Come here. Thank you. Well, so far the audio's holding up, I guess. Because, that crap that happened this morning it really grinded my gears. No, I don't want to get to this one just yet. Yeah, I'm saving that one for last. Because these are all very depressing stories. And we're going to need one that's, on the light side of things. If I can find one. I tried to do that. For you, the people. Thank you. Let's see. Wow, look at this story. Yeah, I can do it like that, I suppose. Oh, well. Okay. Oh, look, it's Katy Perry in space. Deranged parents plead guilty to forcibly tattooing their young kids with staple while they were tied up. The kids were tied up, not the parents. Yeah. So, pretty awful story. A deranged Texas couple pled guilty to forcibly tattooing their 2 young children while they were restrained, gagged, and blindfolded. Jeez Louise. And then laughing about the abuse when the ink was discovered. So I guess someone said, "Hey, what's this?" And he's like, "Oh, it's this. Look, this story is hilarious. First, we tied them up. Yeah. The mother and stepfather, Megan and Gunnar Farr, admitted to using a staple to do the tattooing to the 5 and 9-year-old, and then frantically trying to remove the markings by scraping and scrubbing the children's skin so hard that flesh was removed. There were visible injuries on the child at the specific location of the tattoo, and it appeared that the flesh was removed from the body at the tattoo location. Interim Zavala Police Chief Lieutenant James Denby said. Well, there's the old nasty cow. This happened about the time that CPS got involved in the allegations of the child abuse. Police said that Megan, 27, and Gunner, 23, tied the youngsters up with rope, blindfolded them with a rag, and covered their mouths with tape before pushing the pointed needle into their skin. Whew, what the hell's that? Jeez. The twisted pair tattooed the 5-year-old's foot and the 9-year-old's shoulder in their Zavala home. Yeah, he's just like, shit happens. The children's biological father and stepmother contacted CPS on April 17th, 2023, after they spotted the ink and questioned Megan Farr, who the kid's dad said laughed before driving off. Jeez. The CPS investigation prompted the disturbed parents to cut, scrape, and scrub the children's skin with lemon juice in an attempt to erase the tattoos. So I guess this is the house of horrors. Yeah. Officials removed both children from the home. Good idea. In addition to their younger siblings, with police later recovering a tattoo kit during the course of their week-long investigation. Megan Farr pled guilty to injuring a child. She is expected to be sentenced in May. What are we looking at here? Is that them running off? I don't know. Gunner Farr pled guilty on March 20th and was sentenced to 5 years in prison on bodily injury charges and 2 years for unlawful restraint. His prison terms will be served at the same time. Huh? Oh, 2 years. But yeah. Wait. So 2 of the 5 years counts as double? You mean 7 years altogether? Yeah. Wow. I don't know. Well, anyway, there we go. How about that happy little home? Yeah. Oh, I'm in the wrong place. You need to be here. Okay. Well, I'm no tattoo artist, but there's got to be a better way to do one than a staple. That being said, you shouldn't tattoo your kids. Or tie them up. Or blindfold them. Or gag them. I mean, why would you have to do that? Because, they're going to scream and stuff due to the torture you're doing, you see. Yeah. Oh, yes, and you also shouldn't scrape their skin off. That's the lesson here. All right. That's a Nailsin news segment. How about that? Well, let's see. Plaidcore says, see you soon. Plaidcore says, Doug, bring us up, Doug. You mean put you on the screen? Well, that's the thing. I don't know how to do it in EV mouse. 8 Thompson says, Doug, you are amazing. Well, thank you. Plaidcore, you're the man to do so. Plaidcore, Purdy in space? Oh, oh yeah, yeah. OMFG, says Pello. Plaidcore says, pointed needle? Isn't that redundant? Well, Plaidcore blunt needle would be worse. Well, yes. What was the purpose of the tats? Oh, that's true. I don't know. One was on the foot and the other one the shoulder. I don't know. They tattooed the word left on the kid's left foot so he would finally figure it out. Maybe it's something like that. I don't know. The shoulder one, I don't know. Unless they just, wanted identifying things on there so that if hi, have you found me? My address is something like that. I don't know. They're probably a couple of idiots. That'd be my guess. The parents, Plaidcore, were they using the children for practice? That could be also that, hey, tattoos are the shit. Let's get into the business. But first, we got to do some practice. Boys, get in here. And that's probably how that started. Plaidcore, damn, I want some iced coffee. Because of the tattoos. Plaidcore, no, our spirits. Plaidcore, weirdos / LOL. Plaidcore, they much have had face blindness. You mean they couldn't I don't know. Anyway, gee, it's a sad story, but their mother's a batshit crazy bitch, and their father should get full custody, and their mother should never be allowed to see them again. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when they're adults and I want to give mom a chance. Okay. And now on to our next one. Boy, this one. Well, let's get to it. Men drilled hole in hand of woman to obtain bank card code after kidnapping. Swiped $20,000 in jewelry from purse before shooting her. Jeez Louise. Now look, if you're trying to get her bank card and you drill through her hand, you're going to drill through the card. If that's what was happening and she was holding on to it, yeah, that's not going to work. But maybe that's not the case. Let's find out. Authorities in Washington state arrested 2 men who are allegedly part of a brutal kidnapping and attempted murder of a woman who had $20,000 in jewelry in her purse. She only survived the horrifying ordeal by ducking a gunshot to her head and playing dead on the side of the highway. Kevin Daniel Sanabria Ojeda, 24, and Alexander Moises Arne Gutierrez, 25, are charged in King County Superior Court with attempted murder, kidnapping, and robbery. A probable cause arrest affidavit obtained by Law and Crime said the incident unfolded on January 21st at an apartment complex in Burien, a suburb of Seattle. But prosecutors allege the suspects had been casing the victim for months and were waiting for her when she came home from work. The facts of this case demonstrate a sophistication and pre-planning at a level of violence that is alarming, prosecutors wrote. Per the affidavit, the King County Sheriff's Office responded to the Park Des Moines apartments for a welfare check after a neighbor heard the victim scream followed by a gunshot. Yeah, odds are you might want to check that out. The victim wasn't answering her phone and could not be found. About an hour later, deputies received word from a neighboring county that the victim was found on the side of a highway some 60 miles away, suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. From her hospital bed, the victim told detectives she went to work that day and hung out with a friend. When she returned home, she saw men in the apartment complex parking lot she did not know. As the victim walked to her apartment, the two males outside the compact vehicle approached her and stated that they had been waiting for her. Prosecutors wrote in the affidavit. One of the suspects had a gun and said that he knew the victim lived alone. He also knew she would get home around 6 to 7 p.m. and that she made them wait 3 hours. That's your problem. Anyway, one of the suspects fired a shot at her, but missed. Per cops? You mean the cops told you, but it makes it sound like the cops somehow stopped them. Anyway, they then allegedly forced her into their car, made her lay on the floor in the back seat, and drove away. She told cops the suspects demanded her purse, which contained $20,000 worth of jewelry. How'd they know that? Was it just all like hanging out and stuff? People could see the necklaces and everything. The suspects then allegedly drilled a hole in her right hand, demanding she give them her bank card PIN code. They drove to the ATM and withdrew about $40 worth of cash from her account. She said the drove? You mean the drive, maybe? Or they drove? I don't know, onto a highway and started driving. They drove and started driving. Yeah, okay. One of the suspects allegedly said she knew too much and they needed to kill her. They forced her over a retaining wall on the side of the highway. The suspect, who had shot at the victim earlier, pointed the gun at her and shot at her again. She stated she ducked and was struck in the shoulder. She believes the suspect thought he had hit her in the head, so she yelled and played dead. God, what an idiot. There's a big difference between a shoulder and a head, but, I think I got her. Yeah. According to cops, the victim climbed over the retaining wall and flagged down a passerby for help. The suspects then went back to her apartment complex. Now, look, it's like they're still there watching her flag down somebody, and then they say, hey, let's go back to the apartment. Anyway, they went back to the apartment complex and stole her car. I mean, they could have stole it to begin with. But anyway, at the highway scene, cops found a large amount of blood, a shell casing, and lip gloss. Cell phone data and the ATM withdrawal matched the victim's version of events. Cops issued a be on the lookout bolo for the victim car, and an officer spotted it in Lake Oswego, Oregon, more than 170 miles from the original crime scene. Detectives tied the address where the car was located to Ojeda, who matched the man driving the victim's vehicle on the day in question, the affidavit said. Police also located the vehicle the suspects drove in the attempted murder and robbery and found a drill they allegedly used. Man, these guys are stupid. They didn't get rid of anything. With the help of the FBI, cops arrested Ojeda. Oh, that's right. That's one of the... Yeah, okay. At a hotel in Illinois on January 31st. The hotel room allegedly contained the victim's jewelry. Jeez. Como reported cops arrested Arne Gutierrez earlier this week in Mercer Island, Washington State. The TV station also reported that Arne Gutierrez has ties to the violent Venezuela-based gang Tren de Aragua. Holy shit. Gee, how did this even happen, huh? Both suspects are being held on a $1 million bond. They have court dates scheduled, blah, blah, blah. Well, there you go, Somebody's watching you come and go from work, and then they wait for you, and you decided to have a little extra fun after work with some buddy of yours. And that really pissed them off. You made us wait for 3 hours. So they decided to drill a hole in her hand, you know. So, just in case you're being stalked, always make sure you get home early. So, you know, maybe they won't rough you up as bad. Then again, it might be better that we didn't allow monsters like that into the country. But we did. But someone's taking care of that. All right. I'll read a little bit more chat. I want iced coffee. Yes. Pell, lucky mom didn't try eating the kids. Yeah, that was probably going to be the next thing, you know. Plaid core, lucky duck. Spurg snake. $40. Yeah. She's shot at, kidnapped, a hole in her hand. And specifically, the hole in her hand was so they could get that $40. You know, the jewelry, you know, but $40. And they still had the jewelry. I guess the guy in Illinois still had that hanging around. I don't know if he was wearing it or whatever. The vehicle had the drill. You Trinde Oagra guys, huh? Yeah. All right. Well, those stories were just terrible, weren't they? All these horrific crimes, kids being abused, stuff like that. So, you know, to restore your faith in humanity, I don't want it to be all horrible stuff like that, you know? So that's why I'll try my best to find something to end on a lighter note so that maybe you won't go to bed with nightmares afterwards and that sort of thing. You know, it's important. So here we go with this little lovely story from our friends over at The Smoking Gun. Yeah, every now and then they'll have something that's pretty good. And it takes a while for them to get their stuff together. Some places, it's almost every day they got stuff. But whatever, I guess they want the ones that are extra special, you know? Like this. Cops bust drunk man wearing pink thong, fake breasts, and pink wig. Well, we know his favorite customer, you know? Apparently this took place at an Applebee's. Yeah. A drunk man wearing a pink wig, fake breasts, and a pink thong was arrested Friday evening for causing a disturbance. Well, I guess so. Outside the chain restaurant where concerned diners were barfing all over the place at the site. Cops say Daniel Sorello, 49, was so intoxicated that he was unable to provide for his own safety and well-being as he was stumbling around the Applebee's parking lot in Clearwater, Florida. The extremely disoriented Sorello, we'll go with that, tried to enter a vehicle that did not belong to him. When questioned by deputies, Sorello was unable to answer basic questions such as where he was, where he came from, what state he was in, what the hell is he wearing? An arrest report does not offer further details about Sorello's clothing. Well, come on. That's the whole story there. How'd this happen? No. Sorello was arrested for disorderly intoxication and booked into the county jail where he changed into an orange outfit. I think it's more fitting. You know, that looks a lot better. Following a night in jail, Sorello was freed from custody Saturday after pleading to the misdemeanor charge. He was ordered to pay a total of $570 in fines and court costs. Boy, that's what wearing a pink thong will cost you, you know. Jail records list Cirillo's home address as an apartment complex near Applebee's. Oh, so he was trying to find his way home, you know? Oh, jeez. He previously resided in North Carolina, where his 22-year marriage ended in divorce in 2023. Um, Gee, I wonder what happened there. Where did the marriage go wrong? Was she upset that he kept stealing her underwear and stretching them all out? It could be as simple as that. So there you go. I promised you a light note. And see, you know, it's all silly. And he's not even going to get a long prison term, you know. Um, and he paid the fine. Again, if you're considering walking around drunk and you're a man wearing a pink thong, well, it's probably going to cost you $570. But, you know, if that's your thing. Plaidcore, did she own the building? You mean the apartment complex? I don't think so. Plaidcore, oh, well, 20K in jewelry and lives in an apartment? I mean, I don't know what the deal is. The jewelry, they just throw that in there. Did they see her get is it hers? Hey, I'm holding it for a friend. I don't know. Maybe it's like she inherited it, you know, grandma died or whatever. But what are you doing carrying it around everywhere you go? And all they could get out of your ATM was $40. Rudy Buggets. Yeah, I was wondering if somebody it's come to this. Oh no! Oh wow! Yeah. What is this? Trump's America? I can't walk around in my pink thong. Yeah, it's a gift from my wife. Well, she says you stole it, sir. No, no, no. Yeah, you're a tough guy. Let's see you meet up with me without your gun, tough guy. Yeah. He's pink thong. The thong song. Well, is that where it ends up? Good Lord. Good Lord. The lovely Sherry says, hello. Well, hello, lovely Sherry. Plaidcore says, hey, lovely Sherry. Lovely Sherry says, hi, Plaidcore. Well, there we go. Boy, don't we all feel better? You know, one of the things about these stories is you can take some amount of, what's the word, consolence? Or, well, whatever. You can feel better about yourself in that you're not one of these people. You don't go around all drunken in pink thongs out in the parking lot of Applebee's. You don't tattoo little kids with a stapler. You don't plot the murder of your husband because he's a baseball player and not a soccer player. Oh, no, she didn't murder him. She just cheated on him with a kid. Okay, you're not molesting kids because you're upset that your husband's a baseball player and not a soccer player. You don't plot the murder of your husband because you'd rather be with a registered sex offender than a guy who does hair for a living. Something like that. No, you don't do any of that. So that means you're better than these people. Nobody's perfect, to be sure, but you're still better than those people. See? I know. That's what I provide. And I did. Congratulations. Okay, well, that's about it. The lovely Sherry says, this has to be a Florida man story. How did you guess? That's right, Sherry. It was. Now, originally he was from North Carolina, but for some reason, his wife divorced him, so he moved to Florida, where he feels more at home. Glad you'd be correct. Yeah, so there you go. Florida man always comes through. Well, maybe not always. Sure did this time, huh? Yeah. All right. Well, look, I guess the sound worked the entire time. Why? Who knows? Maybe we'll find out one day. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'll do something else tomorrow. Maybe even another one of these. Who knows? There might be a whole another round of Nailsin news stories. You never know. Or I'll draw a picture, do a Photoshop, something of that nature. And maybe we'll even have fun. You never know. Sometimes these things can happen. So have a good rest of your night, and I'll see you again. No, you're supposed to go in. Oh, wait. I gotta do that.
Killers, killing it, killing it, killing it, killing it. Nailsin news, news, news. Where all the money go? Ain't nobody gonna know. Do you trust your meat to take a walk down the street while killers be killing and killing and killing and killing? Nailsin news, news. Ain't nobody gonna know. Do you trust your meat to take a walk down the street while killers be killing and killing and killing and killing? Nailsin news, news.